Dr. Rao, by the way, where are you from? Which part of Andhra?
Guntur?
Oh, my wife is from Hyderabad.
Yeah. A lot of my folks are there in Hyderabad now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I originally come from Guntur.
Oh, we met in JNU. She did the PhD from JNU, neuroscience. Habibullah, Dr. Habibullah.
Oh, okay.
It's there. Selvan.
Oh, it's there?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's there.
maybe I missed it. I missed it.
The very recent one, yes, it's there.
Oh, cha.
Where it is, if I'm standing in the tree position, that one has that, yes.
Oh, no, that one has something. Maybe I'll check it and let you know.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
the warrior pose.
Which one?
The warrior.
Oh, the other one like that?
Warrior, yeah.
Oh, no, I have not done that. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. That did not, yes.
Okay, I will go ahead now,
We can mute, we can mute ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, everybody. Somebody's phone is still going on. You want to mute them? Somebody's okay. I don't know. Somebody's radio or something going on. It may be disturbing other people. Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. I thought of this subject because of the situation we are running into with the COVID virus going on and possibility of flu and COVID happening, and also the dire need of public health infrastructure, and also general immunity of the especially urban area people. They have been getting hit more than the rural because the lifestyles, I think they are contributing. So I thought we will do a series on enhancing the human being. First we will do the body, then the mind, and the inner being, the personhood. So I kind of allotted 6 weeks for this so that we can do it leisurely. In this talk, I want to focus on how the health is in this Western society and also Eastern society, how it is defined, what's the status of the health as a whole, and then can we borrow wisdom from both systems? I'm not going to say one is good or one is bad, but I tend to see that we've fallen away from our natural being to more of artificial habits that we ran into. The civilization built such a way that it is really depleting us. So my aim is to present some of the yoga systems to enhance the body in this talk. So given that, I will start the talk. Okay, that definition, Homo sapiens, is 2 words. Homo is the human being, and the sapiens supposed to be wise, sensible, judicious. That is the original meaning. That means we are different from the animals. We are supposed to be more wise, more sensible, more judicious. Judicious implies you have to be more conscious. So we'll keep that in mind as we go into the talk. The other meaning is humor, that is coming all the elements, the stula sarira or the gross body, and that is the one we are going to focus on today. But then the mind and the being, all that inner life, we will do it down the line. So there is a funny way to look at health here and in the East. Here they have a standard definition which we'll come to, but then they consider disease when you have a illness. But in yoga system, it's a question of being at ease with your system, both body and the mind. When the ease is disturbed, that is the balance within you. There are so many systems they explain. I will go through them slowly. But the main thing is difference of disease, presence of illness here and there, disease, lack of balance within your bioenergies, doshas, or whatever. So, you know, this is the one that we grew up with as medical students. We define health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. But I don't know how much really we are in health when you go even by this definition. Okay, this is one slide. Probably, if you want to take home from this talk for anybody, this would be the slide. And I will present this end up also. Basically, we are supposed to be calm, and we should sleep well and have the nutrients to power us and have a joy that is with the community and also within oneself, with passion, but no striving. Most of the passionate people spend their mental energy, but here they're talking about joy without having that mental movement. And then obviously you move, and then you detox your system, and you eat organic local food that is alive and that is also right for you. So this is supposed to be the way formula for health, you know, but our systems have evolved such a way that we are really eating a lot of toxins, and we are not moving, and we don't sleep well, and most of the people are either stressed or agitated or depressed. So let's go into that. See, the first fundamental things I think we have done was we kind of alienated the nature. We are not loving the earth and all the related things like they used to. They used to worship sun. They used to worship the earth, and they used to worship the plants, and also they used to take care of the animals better. That way, the modern society with the technology and science really alienated nature. So even for the immunity, if you are walking on the earth, and if you are paying attention to the water, and you treat the water better, that treats you better too. And then you kind of take care of the trees so that your rivers are better, and also your temperature is better. Of course, I don't have to tell you how bad it is and how the planet is in peril. So this is a paramount importance I always give in terms of our waste or our consumption of the resources. As you evolve spiritually, what they do is they go away from external needs. They limit as much as possible. So they consume as little as possible because they are inner oriented and they're happy with themselves. So they don't have to worry about so many pleasures, like the senses were given a complete license here. So people are suffering because of the indulgence. Also, the planet is suffering too. Whereas the spiritually oriented people, they want to live simply and think highly. So nature relation is a big problem for us. And of course, the society disharmony, that happens because we are divided. We are not one earth, we are several nations. Within the nation also, several states and several people, several races, you know, all of that, you know. And then we have civilized ourselves. That means we have more and more things accumulated for us. But if you take the culture, my by definition is, it's a flowering of goodness in person or in people or in countries. That is not there. Either they're blackmailing each other or they're threatening with each other, the gunboat diplomacy and all that, or armed race, or people are cyber stealing everything. So we don't have the flowering of goodness in the systems, in the people also, you know, and that leads to a lot of problems, a lot of stress too. One girl was saying the other day in a conference this is the first job that she had where she was asked how she is doing every day. But otherwise, she was not having that experience for about 20, 30 years. So when you go to the work, they want you to do things, but they don't help you to be yourself, to being yourself. So that is the major source of stress in many sections of the society. So culture evolution is only possible when you are able to communicate. Take, for example, the satellite, the other day, Tesla released the satellite, the astronaut went to the space station. From there, they saw the Earth and they said, look at the beautiful blue Earth. We have only one, but we are acting like we are all separate. We are, from here, it looks only one, but right down there, we are all divided by nation, by, whatever means we divide ourselves. So that's a problem if you don't have the global view. So in this president also, I may say so many things that are going wrong with the Western medicine, but I don't want to identify myself with one particular medicine. I want to have a fusion of the Western best and also the Eastern. What I perceive is the Western is spending a lot of money for the research and developing certain few things. Like life has become difficult, but some things have become like a phone. You can make calls for pennies now. Those kind of services have improved, but really food, shelter, insurance, all those things, they are the living things. They have become very, very tough because this inequality is there, and we are not equanimous with the Brazil people or Lebanon, whatever country you take it, we are not equanimous. So that way, it becomes very important that we develop culture first in our families, then in our societies, then in our countries, and then the world. So like a global thinking and local implementation. Education is a big interest for me because I have been associated with some schools where they pay attention to personhood and also total development of the human being. It's not just mugging up some facts and then improving the memory, getting some position and being a cog in the wheel. But it's like how can he evolve as a human being in all his intelligence, his physical capacity, emotional and intellectual capacity. So I think we have a lot of examples in India in the ancient times where they have really educated people from the beginning. What are the universal existential issues? And then they were led into the society. Like for example, a prince goes to a Gurukul and he stays with the Guru from age 5 to still 15 or 16. And he gets schooled by the Guru without taking any compensation. He just allows the kid to explore everything naturally. They were not instructed in the sense given some curriculum, but they were allowed to show their individual intelligence bloom. So they began to question, they began to think for themselves. They began to explore the rest of the forest and discover animals or plants, and then come to the Guru, and then he will teach from the old scriptures. That's why before he knew anything, he knew what is Brahman. Now people don't even understand when you talk about that. So with that knowledge, like a Rama, he comes to the kingdom, he can sacrifice the entire kingdom just like that because he is internally oriented. He is given what are the facts of life. So that's an example. Anyway, we don't want to prepare the student just for the university. We want
Can
to
I give me
prepare
1 minute?
for the universe, right? So those are some of the issues that I want to bring in. Now, the need for enhancement, we were beginning to talk about it, how
because I
urban
want to
area
create something
people
and give
don't
it to you
have
back.
any of the,
Everybody should mute yourself.
No, only one
Please,
minute.
No,
please mute.
no, she's gonna give us the other.
Satya, I think Satya is not muted. Dr. Rogini is not muted. Please mute yourself, please.
Yeah.
Please mute. Thank you.
Daddy Dada, give us the other phone.
So,
Dr. Rao, you can mute them from your end also because you are the admin. You can do it.
yeah,
Daddy Dada,
I'll go to them all.
Yeah.
Daddy Dada, give us.
I will give you this one. 1 minute. Listen.
Yeah. I'm trying to locate her.
Satya, please mute. Rogini also should mute.
Yeah. Anyway, I can do it from here. Well, we were really paying attention to the population overgrowth also and the possible consequences.
Dr. Rao, you go
Okay.
to the, you click the participants, and then go to those, and then mute them individually.
I know, they're all there.
Yeah, you click the participant, and then the list will come on the right side, where you just mute the video video aspect and audio aspect of it.
Oh, okay. I don't know who. I think Satya's one. That was the. Okay.
Good.
The population overgrowth is something we have been paying attention to, but we are not really doing a good job as for the WHO. And the overgrowth has the consequences of immigration problems, and that is not going to help us in preventing this COVID or any other virus as it comes. And that is going to be a big problem now. The Brazil, Asia, all these are exploding with the cases, and this already is going in the second wave. Europe, yesterday news was Europe was worried about second wave happening right now, So that way, we just allow these people to go like in the bus, we are in the front and then let them and the back people go off, then we are all going to get killed, Of course, the food shortage is already here. Famines were not seen, but then even if you take the population, majority of the population have only one meal, even now, and a lot of food is either wasted or not distributed properly, and that is going to be much worse with all this going on too. Water deprivation, and then we talked about that. And also, this is a big problem for us. We are growing food, but then we are using too many chemicals, fertilizers, and that is really depleting the vitality of our foods. And that is directly related to our immunity, and also it's not going to help the body if you don't have good foods anyway, So the lifestyles I'm going to talk a lot about, because these are the ones that we can change. The important thing is we need to be aware of that. If you take a look at it, I'm going to go through this very quickly because US spends the highest amount of money, and that is also mostly wasted because all the drugs, all the technology, all the expenditure that goes to insurance companies, they're absolutely waste because in terms of what we want to deliver to our patients. Because I was in the revolution of this EMRs and the Technology High-Tech Act, I was very enthusiastically participated. But then after 10 years or so, we are really disillusioned because we don't have any of the outcome improvement which we wanted all the time. So that way we are very, very disappointed. The outcomes are getting worse and they are not getting better in terms of obesity, hypertension, disease prevention and all that. That's why I showed you this slide, because how bad is the allocation of resources to what we desire. For example, I don't use many medications with my patients, and whenever I can cut down the medications. I made a living out of that. I personally don't take medications unless it is a real emergency or anything like that. So there is a way we have to use the pills and the technology and all that, but we lost that because of the defensive medicine, or because of the greed, or because of the, it is available there. That's why everybody has to have a CAT scan. They can't have one CAT scan available to many people, you know. They will go, oh, that's a social medicine and all that. But basically, resources were really, the problem with this is, the more we waste money like that, the less it is available for the research and education, and the country is not going to be competitive with China. So we better wake up and then do something about it. In that way, this also becomes very important. As physicians, we promote to the patients and to the societies of our individual counties, and also the chapters of the state, and also AMA. We have to deliver. When are we going to shift from just disease management to treat the diseases in their origin, prevent them, make a public health sector improvement, so that we won't have this kind of problems down the line. I think we all have a role in bringing that awareness to everywhere wherever we're working. So WHO usually, you know, this is for the people who are not doctors here. They have to know that the life expectancy, you see, in the United States, 79 years, but in Japan, the highest, you know. People are living longer, but quality of life is doubtful, you know. But if you take the life expectancy in other countries going down, but child mortality, that's a big problem, you know, especially in developing regions, you know. Maternal mortality, that is a big problem. It's on the rise again, in the US also. And disease burden has grown, and it has shifted from some of the European countries to the Asia and Africa now, you know. So I just wanted to run through the slide so that people know the measures that the WHO does to see the evaluation of how the health is that has gone down, you know. I think most of the problems, especially in the US, are because of the bad habits. The way we have the furniture is not good. We kind of slouch, we kind of really sit very soft cushions, and down the line, that is very bad. I will explain that to you when I explain about the yoga way of looking at it, you know. All the creature comforts, the elevators, the cars, the entertainment, all those things are conducive to promoting bad energy in you, which is they call tamas, and that's not good for aging and also morbidity, the disease process, you know. So internal massage we get with yoga is not there when you slouch and sit down there for hours, you know. So also all these high-tech people, they have this irregular routines because the 24-hour day. So people in India are working night to serve the customers here in the US. And those are really making havoc with the sleep routines, with their marriages, divorce rate is high, all those problems are there too. Of course, a lot of unnatural habits, drug addictions and all that. So we consider sitting as the new smoking. Like how we used to warn people, don't smoke, we are warning people, don't sit too long. In the, our Apple Watch has a warning, every 1 hour it will warn you, it's time for you to get up, you know. Or people are having desks where they can stand and then work. They don't have to sit for a long time, you know. So the sitting is bad because of the furniture we talked about. Also the entertainment. People sit there for hours and hours, and that is promoting a lot of problems too. The essential thing about entertainment is it is making the body inactive, but the mind racing. So body inactive promotes the tamas. That is the laziness and stationary, stagnant, that kind of energy. Whereas the active mind, because you are involved in the fast moving pictures and all that, that makes your mind go into more rajas. That is the active energy. Usually type A personalities have a full-blown rajas, you know. Of course, we are losing our mental acumen because it used to be we could calculate anything with our mind. Now we depend on the small things for the calculator. So that's like a erosion. If you are not mentally alert and aware, it is going to affect your body too. That's why I put that in. Of course, we drive quite a bit, and then we don't walk. Even for the small 1 block, 2 block, we have to drive. We take the elevators, and all the modern appliances are taking away the routine daily work for men and women that they used to do. Now they have appliances that take away that kind of bodily hard work from them. They don't pay attention to this because they think it's a good life. But in the long run, it is robbing your energy and it's robbing your health. That's the main point. You know, even the remote controls, the people used to get up and go to the TV and shut it off. Now they are sitting in there, and that promotes more and more. The thing with sitting is, the more you sit, the more it will invite that tamas energy. Of course, robots are coming already here, and that's a separate talk because I'm an informatician. I'm into the AI, I'm into the robot. I'm examining what is going to be the effect of AI on healthcare. One thing is sure, we will be going back to our art of medicine. Physicians will be needed to gather more energy towards being empathetic, more supportive to the patient families, which we are forcing people to do. Then they will be needed for that because most of the algorithms will be doing the patient care. You know, now remote already has come, and more people are going to treat themselves with the help of the computer algorithm, for at least for the minor things. And also the disease of civilization will be better managed because we have meta analysis, and we have a lot of people looking at algorithms from the insurance point of view. And unless you do that, they will give you a score, health score. If you don't do that, your premiums will be going up. So a lot of people are forced to control their blood sugar, cholesterol. I know some companies, they don't hire you unless you have a good chemistry on the lab test. Of course, smoking is a big deal, alcohol and drugs and prescription medication. I think this is something we promoted too as physicians and the medical system. Kind of let people believe there is a cure for everything, there is a pill for everything. So they look for even the complicated cancers and other things. They don't know the gene therapy, but they expect a medication for that. You know, that's the general public I'm talking about. We are not really making an effort to make sure they are educated about it. That's my personal opinion. Drug companies push the drugs. Insurance companies also, they kind of cut down. The company is that are getting the generic medications, but they promote the brands. You know, I mean, there's a lot of corruption and greed in the whole system. But basically, if you come to the enhancement of the human being, if you start people on the prescriptions very early or unnecessarily or too much, and then you put them in the nursing home and make them stay in their bed and give, basically you are making them live only because of the medications. And these people don't have any immunity, don't have any vitality in that system. So when they get COVID, apart from the underlying conditions, this is really playing a part because they don't have any vitamin D. A lot of people are compared to the rooms, and then they don't have any vital energy we're talking about, like in yoga. And they may do some physical therapy, but it's only half an hour or so. And then most of the time they are dejected or depressed or they're given up. And a lot of people, when they go to nursing home, they become sicker and sicker and down the line. It's like a death sentence going down the line, you know. So there is a lot in the prescriptions that we could do. Of course, recreational, also the, drugs I'm talking about, like cocaine and other things. TV viewing is very, very destructive in so many ways. See, when you let go the senses, start to get habituated to the TV or to certain type of thinking, you are losing awareness and also reflection and inward looking. It's always driven by something that's happening on the TV or something you are watching again and again mindlessly. So that in meditation, in yoga, what we teach is you have to pratyahara. That means move away the senses from you, all the shut off external things, and then go in. But this is making much, much tougher because they are introducing the kids very early, even to 1 year, 2 years is a babysitter. So if you look at that way, there are so many ways that can harm the human system, mind-wise, awareness-wise, and the body sitting on all that. We talked about that. Of course, social media, all the addiction to the news and then spending, it's a big gossip sometimes, you know. But if you are, even in LinkedIn also, people don't do really focused, serious business, more like they are not really being influencer. They are more like lurking or looking at the entertainment and then going away. So that's also pretty much, I mean, it's going to evolve into a much bigger giant as the artificial intelligence runs the algorithms, and then they already know most of the stuff about ourselves. They're going to know more about it, and they're going to follow you everywhere, and they're going to make you more slavish if you are not aware of it. So we'll see how that evolves. Okay, this other thing is this entertainment industry that they promote here. It's only good for the athletes physically because they get a lot of exercise, lot of conditioning. Even then, after they leave the competitive arena and they retire, they become very fat. Many people don't maintain the same physique because they want to enjoy the fruits of their labor, which is the creature comforts. And then the latent diseases, like diabetes, heart disease, all those things come out more because these, not everybody, some of them, but generally people are very conditioned when they are playing. After they stop playing, they get into trouble, you know. And what about the spectators? That is my main point. Because if you are participating in the game, you are actively playing. See, that is what is supposed to be. You go and play with your friends in a non-competitive, joyous way where you have camaraderie, where you learn to take defeat and also not to be inflated by the winning. And also you are exercising quite a bit. You are in the sun. All those benefits are there. Now this has become more like a, they don't care about the human being, the effects he is having. They care about more about the money, the the revenue that you generate. So the whole thing is, if you take it as a whole, it's not like I'm going to work and then I'm going to reward with the game. No, people are living for their team. People are really spending a lot of their energy just to watch the games, even during the work. A lot of people in India watch cricket while they are supposed to be doing work in the offices. So in so many ways, this is not good for the physically spectators that are used to the baseball season, basketball season, whatever, they are kind of stationary, and that is not good for them. So this is the one. We want to move the body and keep the mind still, but we are doing the opposite here. That's why. The other problem we all know about is, this is the difference between yoga or Tai Chi or any other systems, this one, we went for the reduction. I'm not belittling the achievements the modern medicine has made about the, if somebody has a real problem, we can cure a lot of it. But my problem with the diseases of civilization, where this doesn't help a diabetic unless you really work with him very, very early. Not only you work with him, but also the things that are forcing him to do that. The restaurant chains, they serve very bad food because that is what the customer would eat. They want money, they don't care about that, and they don't care about the health of the patient. They just want to sell their thing, And then they don't really promote people to diagnose everything early. You are paid for a DKA patient in the ICU so many thousands of dollars, and he comes back again and again, but they don't pay for a pre-diabetic test, or making people see a diabetologist early because it's there in their family, Any of what I'm talking about is the disease spectrum. If you look at it, most is oriented after the patient gets into trouble and into the hospital. As a society, we are wasting a lot of money. But if you really attend to the early part of the cycle of the disease, that is what it is. That is not there because everybody thinks cardiologist is going to save them, but they can go and stay at home, not exercise, and don't want to have the aerobic exercise that's needed for the heart to be in condition. And they expect the doctors to reverse everything. They may say so many things, but if you take the percentage of the population, very few of them really take care of themselves. They look for the medical system to make them better. And then we are failing them when we don't educate them about this spectrum, where the monies are going. It's already become a national security issue, the expenditure that we are putting on the medical system. Now, I'm an informatician, so that means I'm in touch with the high technology. And this just shows you how many places you can, I had another slide, I couldn't locate it, but from head to toe, you are going to have devices that are going to help you with so many things, Example, this is like a implant that they can put it in there. So all your medical history, everything will travel with you. And this is like a small thing. They put it in the elbow of the hand, So this is for a blind man. They can put sensors in the spectacles and then collect the electrode in the brain, and he can see it with that. These are wonderful, excellent things, but the cost of it is going to be enormous. And these are the small implants in the hands that can control arthritis. And this is a color-blinded man that has a transducer that can warn him about the colors that he is presented with. He cannot appreciate them, but he will be described. It's permanently attached to him. And this is somebody lost their little finger. So, you have a Bluetooth that is going to operate that device, so he can pick it up like somebody who has complete hand. Just an example. This is also a robotic arm that can do a lot of things. Of course, you are seeing robots working in the restaurants and all that. So the genome therapy is wonderful. The robotics are wonderful to some people. But if you take the generic daily civilization diseases, we are not doing enough. That is what is the majority of the morbidity, majority of the mortality, heart diseases, cancer, or any of these things, they are kind of costing us a lot, and we are not paying. We are excited about these technologies, like I do too. I have interest in them. But then when you look at the 100 people, it is only useful for a couple of people who lost their arms, but the rest of the people are suffering. So what I want to present here is, how can you fuse the modern and ancient systems? You know, we don't want to say all modern medicine is doing is wrong, or all ancient systems have offered is relevant now. If you really go back to the system, it has a lot of good, but I don't think many people can understand or even go there, you know. So this corona, it has exposed all these fault lines in our systems, you know. It has exposed that we don't have the public health measures that we used to have. I think they canceled that Prevent in January or so, which has prevented 110 viruses in the last 5 years. They were able to detect these viruses very early as they happened in Africa, in Asia, China especially. But then Trump administration thought they were doing nothing. That's why they, I know about this because the epidemic forum has this computerized system in New York. They have people working in the field. Anywhere something happens in a village, immediately they get the report, and immediately they send people there to really limit them and confine the virus to that. In this case, they could not do that because we don't have that Prevent anymore, because Trump administration took it away, you know. So they thought a lot of these unglamorous preventive things that were going on to protect all the world are waste of money, and that's why it went. And then other thing they exposed is, they have exposed the lack of facilities for the income deprived population, and that's a fault line, and that's going to expose us to. Another thing is, lot of these people who are unaware, who don't pay attention to the real scientific facts, they are believing these politicians, and then that's a fault line in my judgment, because majority of the population is led that way. They are going to affect us. So what's happening now? Multi-generation families, the young people are going out, they're picking up virus load is as high as in symptomatic, asymptomatic also. The asymptomatic coming back and giving to the other generations. And that's why they're asking them to wear the mask at home, you know. So there are a lot of fault lines. I can go on. The medication supply, the vaccine scaling, or the pure, simple, basic hygiene. So many things are really exposed in this. We talked about all this, you know. The argument is this: can we sustain at this level with this approach, where people are not being commonsensical, like judicious and wise? If they are not taking care of their health, they don't take responsibility for not having COVID and also not spreading to somebody else. If their education level, understanding at that level, are we going to sustain this? Because they can live whatever they want, and then they get into problem, and then the system is supposed to dish out so much expense using all the technology because of the fear of getting sued, and then they may not even see. We did a morbidity mortality study on ICUs one time. We saw what is the expense that goes on in the ICUs in terms of results or in terms of morbidity decrease. We found 90% of the hospital money go into the last few days of patients who are not going to be salvageable anyway, you know. So the system then went into the algorithm where they can advise you that this particular patient had a multi-organ failure, his success rate is going to be this much, whereas the young person who has only a couple of organs affected, but they has a good everything else function-wise, he can get back. So we're not playing God there. We are just evaluating the resources allocation. See what happened with COVID? When we needed the ventilators, we didn't have when it was needed. So some hospitals in Texas told the patients, go home and die with your loved ones. We cannot do anything for you, and there will be a burden for the hospital. So that is going to happen more often in more other places in the world. So that's why it's not a sustainable model for us. We may be feeling that we are comfortable, but if you take a panoramic view of the whole patient population, that's not a sustainable model at all. That's why I am educating, take self-responsibility, understand some of the systems that worked when all this technology, all these medications, all these modern things are not there. How did they have a physical body that is vigorous, a mind that is joyful, and a heart full of love and joy? How did they do that? When we examine that, there are so many lessons we can learn from them. That's what I'm going to present here. So when you take the self-responsibility, the first thing is awareness. What's going on with my body from morning till evening? What am I doing in the morning? What am I eating for the breakfast? What am the exercise I'm doing? Where is the tension in my body? That kind of thing. This swadhyaya means, I think I spelled it wrongly there, but SWA, swa means yourself. Adhyaya means study. So you study yourself in terms of your body, your mind, and your feelings, and much deeper, okay? At least in the body, if you get up in the body, you can see you are feeling low in energy, or you are drowsy, or you are having some tension in the back, those kind of things, So formula is very simple. If you are aware of what, I'm not talking about self-conscious, I'm not about being a beauty conscious. That's what I'm against that. What I am talking about is awareness of the existent things in your body, the tensions, the pains, all of it. And you can do some things to get them out of it. Otherwise, if you push with it, like they make you to push with it, you may get hurt and much worse problems. So that is the main thing, body awareness. So why yoga is, yoga can be done with any age. It has to be modified from infants to all the way to 85 years, and then anybody in any physical condition, we can modify that. Not every intense yoga or every light yoga appropriate for everybody, but for each condition there are, gender there are, any disease there are. And for example, I wrote a head to toe yoga, which I presented in my previous presentations. This is written for people of elderly, very frail, they don't have any energy. Those kind of people, they can do it in their chair, or they can do standing up, or they can take something and all that. Then all the joints will work in 5 minutes. So some limbering up that has, then you can take them to next level. In each asana also, there is a base, there is a medium, there is an advanced one. We can modify also. We can use props also. So different kind of routines I'm going to present to you that you can choose and use. Or of course, if you do it with a teacher, that's much better. But these days, you don't really have to. There's so much information available, but you have to choose it properly according to yourself. Or you can just do slow stretches with breathing and alignment, and that will help you to ease the tension. So all through the day, pay attention, be attentive, not thinking, not imagining, just being attentive. What is happening that at the time. And then if there's any tension, suppose you're in the office, you can do these chair stretches. You don't have to even get up. See all the stretches like basically oriented to the shoulders, neck, and also to the back, upper back and lower back. You can do so many other things also, you know. If you really observe where your mind is going and where your body is going, those are the two big elephants. You have to tame them by stationing yourself in the awareness, not what you like, what your knowledge and all that, but present moment awareness. So we were talking about disease in terms of Western medicine, where absence of some ailment. Here is an imbalance of some energies they talked about, and those energies, if you really understand, then you can balance them just by lifestyle modification, like how you approach work, how you think, how you sleep. Simple things like that you can change and then do that. Yoga is not just physical exercise only, but also it's basically it's a union with the bigger whole. But that is kind of later. But today we are going to concentrate on the body. You know, so the three doshas are Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and Trigunas are Tamas, Rajas, and Sattvic. We're going to go a little bit into that. One routine thing people may say is when you are not aware of or you are ignoring warning signs. Somebody said they were dying and then Yama comes and then he says, oh, what is this? You did not give us a warning. You are taking us away. They said, no, you gave us a warning. You have these pains, the aches and all the stiffness that you have. All those are warnings for you that you are getting aged and you are going to finish your time because you did not take care of the instrument properly, right? So the stiffness accumulates because you are not aware of it, or you allow the body to grow into the stiffness. It's a very, very simple thing. If you cannot take 10 steps, just take only one step at a time, you know, and then increase that. So otherwise, you will go the other way. Usually old people, they say, oh, just take rest, sit down, and then they go further down. That's what happens in nursing homes. They don't have enough activity. I introduced this, what is that? People used to play basketball, everything on the TV without having any bat in their hand. They were able to V systems, you know. And very beginning, I introduced them in the nursing home like 20 years ago probably. And people were able to enjoy themselves and then move a little bit and reduce the stiffness, because this is a definite indicator of morbidity. And down the line, is going to lead to diseases that are going to be increasing the mortality. So if you sit down, the tamas is increased. If you really go on thinking in this information age, information overload is a big deal for everybody, you know. Even for somebody sitting there watching the TV continuously, that's the information overload, you know. People don't have one moment they can go out and be with the flowers. It's a foreign term now, you know. And all this is resulting in poor outcomes. I'm repeating again and again because that particular awareness is very important when you want to assess your trigunas or your koshas, you know. So these are the trigunas, you know, the tamas, rajas, and sattvas, okay. Tamas is basically negative, it's impure and it's painful and it's demonic energy. The more inactive you are, because we are talking about the body in this class, only that's a demonic energy. But if you allow the mind to run like a type A personality and wanting to do jobs, wanting to do stuff, all this, that is the rajas, you know. And then the sattva is the positive, pure energy. It is the kind of divine energy. So you want to reduce or eliminate tamas, reduce the rajas, and stay in sattva. And the religious practices and all those are devised for that. Like a devotee goes to a temple, he does all the sashtang namaskar, all the prostrations he does. Those are all exercise for him body. At the time, because he's oriented to the God, his mind is silent, supposed to be. And also, they're supposed to sit in the temple for 5 minutes, just focusing on the God. That means you are not supposed to think of other things. Even the mantra japa, all those things are like that. You see, the negative personality is tamas, and self-indulgent, self-centered personalities are rajas. Harmonious, positive personalities, etc. But if you take the intellect, the more negative data you have, like it is pushing towards the chair, towards a movie, then you are encouraging tamas. The ego in the middle is the one which will make you do decisions that are not good for you in the long run. Ego transference or transcendence of ego is a big, big thing in any society now. We will talk about that. So, if you want a detailed characteristics of this one, you can imagine yourself in this, and then you will figure out how. That's why I put this slide there. A tamas will have heavy, ignorant, and confused, and inactive, sleeping all the time, lazy, delaying, and all that. Okay, generally dejected always, and also indecent. So the people who sleep late in the day, that's not good for them. People who don't sleep much, that's not good for them. So that balance is not there. Whereas in rajas, that is really a type of personality. And most of the hospital sittings, we see this because we are pushed by so many people these days. Middlemen has become so many, so they make, get irritated, angry, and you feel bad about it. And then you are kind of aggressive either to yourself or to the co-workers. But the sattva person will have really balanced, gentle, truthful, benevolent, and virtuous. See, that fortitude that comes from being in the being, not in the mind, not in the body. That's a big statement, but for that we have to go into the mind section. Om, for example, I don't know how many people know about the components of Om. There are 4 components here. If you look at the downward, that is waking state, like our waking state, and then offshoot of that is the swapna, the dream state, and then above curve is the deep sleep state. But of all these 3 states, there's the underlying consciousness. When you are waking up, your mind is active. When you are dreaming, your mind is active too. But when you are deep sleep, both mind and body are not active, but that consciousness which runs through everything is there. That is called turiya. That is the 4th state. Actually, it's not 4th. That runs through all the 3 states. And this is all covered by Maya, all the 3 states. Otherwise, you will know your turiya all the time, right? So when it comes to body, this one reflects like this. The A-U-M, right? A is, that comes from, all the 3 sounds, A, U, Ma. All these 3 becomes Om, right? A is the first sound, and that corresponds to one plexus, neural plexus. U is another plexus, and Ma is another plexus. Okay, the throat, the cervical, and then this one, the chest, and also abdomen. Okay, that's why deep Om has resonance with all the nerves. So obviously, breath control is neural energy control. That's why deep breath calms your mind down. The mind and the breath, they both come from the same Shakti, same power. So if you control one, the other will be controlled. So that's why when somebody is anxious, we tell them, take deep breaths slowly. And what happens is when you do the asanas and do the breathing, all the time you are oriented towards your posture and you are only there, then your mind also accustomed to being in the present. That you will carry in your life. So that's why practicing should be very focused activity. Don't have music, don't have TV, don't talk to anybody. If you really want to practice, you practice like that. And also, when you exercise the body and do this breathing exercises, all the areas that open, the potential blood vessels and all that, they promote blood supply to that particular region because you have generated the demand. Obviously, like in aerobic activity, heart generating a lot of demand. Here, because that is the thing about yoga is you don't have cramps and all the lactic acid accumulation because the peripheral areas are opened up and you are breathing deep. And as you practice more and more, you deep much more deep, and more areas will be oxygenated. It's a very commonsensical thing if you observe it. So I don't have any cramps or anything when I do the treadmill or any other activity because my breathing is deepened a lot more. So you can use that in any number of situations. Suppose you are driving on the car and you stop at a red light, you can just take 3 deep breaths. That will bring you to the present instead of getting lost in thought. So anyway, these 3, the waking state, deep sleep state, they all correspond to 3 different plexuses in the throat, in the chest, in the abdomen. Okay, so ma. Some practices they make you just say If you notice, they all are made without moving the lips. And this is so remarkable, Om chanting. Even if you don't believe God or anything, if you do this, what happens is people who are otherwise very tired, they find themselves not tired. There was one girl, she carried a pot of water for 20 miles. And she was not tired because she was doing this Om all the time. So basically, deep breath and then neuronal settlement, like a calming down. Okay, 5 elements are important because our gross body, I will go into that now, the gross body, the subtle body and all that. The gross body is made of these 5 elements and each one is allotted to an emotion, like a wood, anger, fire, happiness, earth, worry, metal, grief, water, fear. So if you have a imbalance of water is about 70% of our body, and you don't hydrate yourself, even the meetings you can't attend very well. Okay, so if you another thing is yoga is connected to the nature because the water outside runs as blood into you and then goes out of you and becomes water again. So all these elements, we are kind of a recycled genetical material from the earth. In that way, we are really connected everywhere, everybody. If the trees are breathing, we are breathing. They give the oxygen out, we take them. So in that way, your union in the terms of yoga, me and universe connected, that becomes one part of that, easily. So elements, having a understanding of it and living close to them is very important. There are both shuddhis that we could discuss about, that we can do to clean your elements. But this is very different from anatomy, physiology that we learned in medical school, because it's more like a reduction system. It doesn't give an organic whole. Even I was watching a movie by Dr. Bohm today. I know Dr. Bohm, he was a contemporary of Einstein. Einstein was aging and this man was a young man. So he walked with them. He was not satisfied scientific explanation of the physics about the physical world and the whole existence, So he was thinking of more like an organic whole. There should be some other explanation. Then he ran into a book where J. Krishnamurti, he wrote about observer is an observer. That means you have a condition of some emotion in yourself. The whole thing is generated by your observer, which is your conditioned thinking. And the more you pay attention, the more it will dissolve. If you are not aware, it will continue. It's a very simple thing, but it's a complicated thing but it's very close to his physics, what he was talking about, So you should take a look into that infinite power or something, that movie, Infinite Intelligence, I think, I saw that movie. It was very telling about when the ancient talked about one consciousness everywhere. Now the physicists are talking about the same thing. So what they have realized, macrocosm is microcosm in us, and that's what these koshas represent. Okay, simply for the people who don't know about this, Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, and Anandamaya kosha, right? So these are not like a real circles, more than the depths of the body, right? The encasing our real us, our real self. Encasing that, first comes the bliss body, then our intellect, then our brain and all that, then our energy body, and then the the gross body. Right? Okay, this is I gave this slide because this has so much explanation about so many things. It covers all the layers here. I will bring this. I made some more quotations, just make you understand better. See, first one is Stula Sharira. That is the physical body. That is usually by balanced diet. You are exercising, you are eating, then the awareness is mostly on the alignment of the structure and engagement of the muscles. But that's because with all the diet. Okay. Then the next three layers, they are called Sukshma Sarira. Okay. First one is the energy body, which is the Pranamaya Kosha, which is the breathing and all that. So expert of the yoga practice through the breath. Experiential part of the yoga. It's not an information. You have to really do the breathing to do that. The focus is on the breath, makes the awareness of the subtle body stronger. The more you are aware of your breath, the more you get into deeper, the stronger that vital body becomes. Then the mind would be that reactive. Okay. Okay. So what it is you begin to feel the pose. See, this is a yoga saying, how the pose feels, not how it looks. So somebody may do a limited amount of stretch, but that doesn't look very well to the advanced person or somebody who is very young. But then the effect will be the same. So how it feels is very important. Then the next one is the most important, I think, the Manomaya Kosha, because this is a mental sheath around three concepts. One is Manas, Chitta, and sensory organs. Most of the people get stuck in this. That's why they can't make progress. They are driven by their memories, which is the Manas, and then they are the subconscious, which is the Chitta, and then all the sensory output. So they cannot go beyond it because you have to use this kosha to get out of this kosha. Okay. Then the next one is the Vijnanamaya kosha, which has 2 points. This is intellectual shape, the buddhi and ahankara. So this is the intellect and this is the identification, ego. So if your identification are with many, then your intellect will suffer with the limitation. The less individualistic you are, the expansion of your buddhi. Then that affects your ahankara too. Then the last layer is the causal body, the carbon sharira. Okay, that's the blissful anandamaya kosha. Okay, this you can go up to this, but beyond that is the self. So you have to, samadhi liberation is one must transcend all the five shades. So these are like advanced practice to understand this. Okay, our body is here, and look at this. These are the elements. That is the physical body. See, top here. And then as it goes into deeper layers, this one becomes less important. So somebody who is here will have very high prime threshold, will not be affected by advanced parts of cancers also because they are blissfully dying. Okay, if you take this, these are chakras, right? These chakras, what they say, look at this, if you're top of here, you are in the Sahasrara. But as you go down, this is
Dr. Rao, I would like to, you please explain this. This is very, very important. Please explain it once more time, please.
Okay.
This
Okay,
is
we start with the
important.
human being.
Take as much time to explain. This is good stuff.
If you understand this one, you understand yogic physiology, yogic psychology, yogic spiritual aspirations, yogic liberation. Okay, there's a lot in this slide. So, first of all, elements, right? For this, you can do exercises, you can do diet, and you can do toxin removal, right? And then you come to these chakras. First of all, you understand the chakras. Suppose your energies are located in the root chakra, you are more for sleeping, eating, and procreation, basic animal level. Okay? And then as you go into this swadhisthana, you are more like you want to educate yourself, you want to get out and do some things, you know. And then Manipura chakra is where you become ambitious. You are running for things and all that, you know. But then this is the anahata is where you are not binding with things and your heart chakra opens. So you are more loving, more accepting, more giving, okay? And then you out of that, this throat chakra, you speak nice, you speak well, you speak for the welfare of other people, okay? And then this is the Bhau chakra, Agna, where you are seeing things with a different perspective opens because you are not confined to your selfish needs or to your only understanding. You open up, you receive knowledge from the universe, okay? And that is the third eye. And then the final thing is where you are connected with the universal energy, okay? So this is Pranamaya Kosha opens up these chakras. Rather than opens up, your awareness moves from just making a living to just going and doing a job or just being like a type A personality. You have your heart opened up, you think about other people, speak well, and then also you understand his perspective. You are not confined like, oh, I'm Indian, everything Indian is good. That is not opening up that chakra. You take the good in that. It's all one existence. All the humanity experience, you can take it. The problem is when you're identified with something, we are dividing ourselves. So I don't call myself anything. I can take from the Hinduism and I can take from the Islam and all that. I don't have to identify myself. The moment I identify myself, I'm kind of, why I identify myself? Maybe insecurity, maybe my ignorance, maybe confusion. So all that will go away when you go into that. Then you go there. So if I up here, okay, but then as you go along, this will go down. Now, this Manomaya Kosha is the problem for majority of the people. They don't know whether they're conscious all the time or their subconscious take over, and deep subconscious with all the samskaras comes out and then acts without, they're kind of elephants for them. So, I mean, they divided in this, but then our people kind of said, okay, mind is really a bunch of thoughts. And then if you go up, the subconsciousness is samskaras, and then vrittis, and if you control the vrittis, you will go into samadhi, all that, you know. This Vijnanamaya Kosha, again, you see, they're just ordinary intuition in the baseline. Then they go into solutions prescribed by the society. Then they will be healing themselves, and then that's a different kind of yogic philosophy. We don't have to get into that, you know. This is a blissful situation where you are creative, you have peak experiences, and you have absolute bliss. But you got to go through all these things and beyond this to really go into samadhi. Chitta vritti niroha tada swarupe avasthanam. First, vrittis have to be completely controlled. Then, still mind will see what is really you. Okay, Ramana Maharshi had a good exposure of that. We'll get into that later. You know? So I'm going to close this slide because I wanted to show you that. Okay, let's see. So if you look at the center of the slide, that pure consciousness is there, and corresponding circles. It's more like a, not really like that, but more like a depth of understanding. You move into that, okay? But this is the yoga body. I just wanted to present it to somebody who cannot follow the slide. You know? Now, here the thing is, they classified this very nicely. Ideal natural state is, look at this, physical supposed to be relaxed. So once you are advanced practitioner, you will feel that relaxation within your body. You don't have anxiety, agitation in the body, restlessness in the body, okay? If you have, then you have muscular tension, abdominal problems and all that. That's why they said, you've got to stimulate the body with various loosening practices. You know, I presented this slide because you'll get the recording. You can take this slide and then see where you are at, and if you can, or you can help your patients with this. You know, suppose your mind is calm. That's the normal state supposed to be. Practically nobody is having calm because they're bombarding with all the information. Okay. So they want you to calm down with meditation and devotion. You know,
No,
wisdom.
you were referring to my paper, or I saw a summary of yoga remedial module 5 years. I just want curious.
I don't think this is from that. You know, but I saw your paper, Dr. Salvan. I know what you're talking about. You know, same thing I think. You know, but I got it from Google. When I wanted this course specifically recommending things, you know, that's when I did that. It's all publicly available. Okay, this also evolution of the human being. If you take the religious connotation from it, what it shows is amphibian to somebody who can walk on the earth, right? The tortoise, and from there to boar, and then that's like a sturdy animal, and that led to half man, from half man to angry man, from angry man to more like a loving man, a perfect human being like, and then from there to a meditative man. Krishna is supposed to have started 10,000 yoga ashramas and then taught all the yogas in Bhagavad Gita and all that. So now people are restless. So the evolution from animal to the meditative man, and we are kind of have to go back to that to really realize the human life purpose. You know? These are the chakras we talked about earlier. Now, modern time, why do you want to do yoga? See, like most of the American yoga system kind of made it a very simple thing. They, I think Sadhguru one time described it. It's like you have an airplane and the plane is chopped off, right? Wings, and then you are driving on the taxi. You cannot fly, you know, you are happy taxiing around. That's where they are. They kind of think, I mean, there are some serious practitioners that really try it, that is there, but mostly they think it's the perks, the side effects of the yoga are the real thing. So they have to make the progress, but then they're kind of not getting the full benefit of that, okay? All the sports can be improved, you know, so this is the best aerobic exercise that I know, you know. I think Sadhguru's guru, he used to do 10,000 a day, Surya Namaskars. So he was so good at the age of 70 years or so when he first met to Sadhguru. The sport was dive into the deep well, and then climb up with the hands. Whoever kid comes first, they win the game. And then this old man, they are 13 years old, and this man was 70 years old. He went down with them and he came up first. So they wanted to know how that is do, because he is muscular and he's built very well. So he was doing this asanas, and he taught the yoga to Sadhguru and all that. But this is a very good aerobic exercise, you know. People who cannot do this, they can do it, chair Surya Namaskar. There are so many variations in this, you know. I put this first because this is my favorite, and also this I think is the best aerobic exercise, you know. I'm giving all the choices, all the varieties that people can see. This is one of the important factors that people don't know why yoga is very good, because they just think the body shape and all of that. They don't know that the internal organs are massaged with, I think Dr. Shekhar was mentioning this, you know, and I said, oh yeah, this is what anybody doing yoga practice will know that, you know. So there are specific exercises for diabetes that can stimulate the pancreas. There are, but you know, you cannot say like injecting insulin, but it's progressively. The deterioration will at least stop. And if you are lucky, you may have some, you know, but most of the time is the internal massage is felt by people the longer they practice. Like this one, this is the great BK Iyengar, and the way he does this Tadasana, he kind of starts with the toes pressing into the ground, and then pick up his calf muscles and thigh muscles, and then suck up the abdomen and pick up the buttocks, and then straighten the spine, and everything is attended to, the neck also, and then the muscles of the back, everything straightened. Just by standing like this, you'll get a lot of benefits. But then you start with this pose, and you have to continue this pose in every other asana. That's why this is very, very important. You know? The posture will be important. Of course, sitting, the original purpose of the yoga was to, in Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, he mentions Terasukam Asana. That's the only mention he does. The basic thing is, you are supposed to be bodily healthy enough to be able to sit down to meditate for a long time, you know. All these other asanas and all that, they have come like this beauty consciousness or health or relief of the back pains, headaches, like that. But original purpose was, you have to be in a condition to be able to sit down and then meditate. Not just like that, but several hours. Now, we have so many varieties. I like them all. You can do that all the individually, or you can do props, and you can do chair. You can do 2 persons, 3 persons, and then so many different. I just put them just in case somebody wants to consult them. Of course, all the sports there are there, but one of them, they do the physiotherapy, performance biomechanics and nutrition and all that. But yoga, gym, sport, that has become a part and parcel of good competitive teams. If they want to perform very well, they reduce the injuries, not only perform well, but also reduce the injuries and also feel good about themselves because of the challenge. They can meet the challenge. See, all these football players are given this, boxing, and of course runners, specific. I can teach anybody, any sport, what are the things that they have to focus on. And then comes to the office. I have an app called Office Yoga, where all the girls who are sitting in the chairs, I introduce it to them, and they can do this tension evaluation in the neck and the back, and do appropriate stretches sitting in the chair, and they will be helped with their stress a lot. First of all, they cut down their mental chatter just by taking deep breath. The moment they come into this, so this is a good one to introduce the office huddle. They can all breathe and calm themselves down, and then go into the stretches, release the stretches, and then be helpful for each other. That's a good practice, I think. And these are special stress relief exercises. They can do side stretches, they can do the rabbit pose, they can do the plow pose. All those things they can do at the office too. Because most of the people are stressed out. If they have a break like this, or if they have invest in a small yoga studio or meditation room, they can get rid of this. And they are especially for anxiety people. This butterfly, a dragonfly, and sleeping swan, cat tail, and all these things, they really help them with anxiety. The child pose, that's really good. And then pregnant women, for the menstruation help, and also pelvic pain, and even the forming the breasts and all that. And then back pain, I will just wrote only one, but the series of asanas that are there. My aim is to show what kind of asanas you can devise for each disease. They will help, they won't cure you. And also, it's a slow and steady permanent progress. But if you don't do the same for a long time, you will lose it again. Remember, you have to be in awareness, you have to read what is the problem and address that. Of course, all the obesity, that's a big deal. And then kids, you can start them right from the infants. You can play with them as they grow up. You can do intense vinyasa, back bends and all that to them. The important thing here to remember is, when the child is born, he has the preserved body intelligence. And if you nurture them with a lot of good exercise in the early part of the life, they are going to be very healthy down the line, And then these are some other things for the kids. And they even have the Barbie dolls and all to encourage the kids very early. Again, we come to the last slide, which is the take-home slide. This is what we are aiming for the body with a good diet, detox it, move it, and develop joy in doing things, and supplement with the nutrients, and sleep well, and keep the mind calm. Then the body will also not have this, right? So next week, we will do mind, its whole atmosphere, and also special thing is electronic atmosphere of our lives. How that is going to influence with artificial intelligence coming, robots coming, so many, because my informatics thing will come here, so that how you can make that an advantage rather than a disadvantage, unless you really figure it out, that is going to consume you. So that's it, right? Is it too long? I did.
No, Dr. Rao,
Dr. Rao, I cannot thank you enough. I'm telling you honestly, this is one of the best ever I have heard thus far. On this
We
topic, it is
we only
so
touched
fantastic.
base.
It is just, please, can you please share us this recordings of
Yeah,
yours
sure.
so that we can keep, because sometimes when you're talking about it and the slide that there is a discrepancy somewhere and they say, oh, we start to think and we lose it somewhere. You know,
Definitely, definitely.
refreshing it. Yeah,
I
refreshing.
want to make notes actually. This is so good.
Yeah, and I'm going
For
to
me,
send them.
just for
I,
me
I,
only. I want to make notes just for me.
I will put on the LinkedIn and Facebook and also, YouTube videos.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is the best thing I have heard. Fantastic. There are so
You
many.
are very good with your asanas. Your particular asana description is very good, and you mentioned that to them too. Just a physical asana is not everything, But
Yeah,
when you are doing that, the more you are aware of the asana's purpose, asana's life, asana's stages,
yes.
you can protect them, and also you can make them progress.
You one sentence you made complete sense to me today when you said it is more important how you feel than how you look.
Yeah, exactly.
How it looks. Your asana need not be perfect because it
Doesn't have.
as you go by, the things perfection will not be there. But how you feel
Hey,
while doing it,
yeah, that's
that's
the
the
thing.
power.
Even if you raise your hand, you may raise only what is that? That's enough for you, and
Yeah,
you will get the same
exactly.
benefit like somebody who does very perfect pose.
Exactly. Yes. The main thing is awareness.
Yeah,
Awareness is the key.
yeah. I was telling my sister also. The one word you want to remember from this lecture is awareness of the body.
Yes.
There it is on all that, But when
One.
you go into the mind, you will hear more about awareness.
Yes. Yes.
See, it kind of body and mind are not separate, but I kind of put it there so that people can. Yeah, Dr. Salman.
Yeah, that is again. I'm really echoing what Chandrasekhar mentioned beautifully. And thank you and salute to you. And a wonderful explanation, wonderful effort here. You put a lot of effort here to educate us. And then please share with us. I think you have my email ID. I like to have it in email. Is better for me than LinkedIn.
Sure.
Sometimes my phone is getting kind of jammed, but appreciate that.
Yeah.
The second thing is the last point you emphasized, what Chandrasekhar also was pointing out is, yoga should be, your movement should be synchronized with breathing, with awareness. My Guruji used to tell me,
Yes.
feel it, feel it. He emphasizes upon feel it. I think that is more powerful than how you do it, what level you are in. I can share with you sometime, the physical attribute of me, how I was, how I became, and how I become now.
Yeah.
It's total transformation. If you see my pictures, in fact, Chandra knows about
Yes.
how
Yes.
when I was a PhD.
100%. What Selvan is saying is so true. We know each other so well. We have gone through the spiritual journey together so well. It's just unbelievable. Yes.
I used to be a karate man too. I became 240 pounds guy. Whatever the things you alluded, beautifully sitting hours, focused on ignoring ourselves. And that led to 2009, I came close to that. You name any illnesses, what you described, I had it. But as a doctor, I'll tell you, I overcome everything, no medication. I had diabetes, hypertension, sleep apnea, heart blockage, arthritis, you name. I was 240 pounds. Now I'm 65, chronologically, physiologically, I'm only 25.
Exactly.
11 years.
Yeah. I'm sure you know a lot of this stuff. I just put it in a perspective how this is going to be relevant for us,
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Again, namaste to about your.
Yes. Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bro, you put it so well.
I'm looking forward to next week again.
Yeah. Same time, same connections,
Excellent.
And then we will do more like a satsang. Okay.
Yes.
That
That's
way,
fantastic.
it is more personal that way too.
I think you nailed it, and that's exactly I put it in the chat box.
Yeah.
Please look at the chat box. I said same what I see. The resonance in what you are resonating is completely true. It is satsang. It really, really important.
It is, yeah, Selvan said that. It is a satsang actually. This is satsang.
Yes. But I'm recording for the LinkedIn people. A lot of people see that there,
Yeah.
They may have their own meetings.
Send to us too. Yeah, by email us. I put it in the email. Yeah, it'll be great. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to leave because I had to go to work. Saturday is work day for me too.
Sure.
1 o'clock, my duty. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hanmantra,
Prasad, you have something?
Yeah, the Prasadi, yeah.
Prasad?
Hanmantra, thanks. You put it together so well. Oh, I cannot get this kind of information anywhere. I really appreciate it.
I mean, the whole purpose is to make people continue to do if they are doing something, or encourage them to get into this and be helpful, and also a larger community we want to help, that's what it is.
Thank you, Hanmantra.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. Appreciate it. And see you next week.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
One more point I'd like to share. I could not resist.
Yeah.
Another very important thing for me, what I really loved is you being a modern medicine doctor, and you are championing for this. It's very, very, very required, and that speaks volume about it. Because
what that is you take the science, it's only 200, 300 years, right?
Yeah.
This was tested 2000 years.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's like a suppose we say everything we have in civilization is very good, then they will ask you, why is India like that? Because India has gone off from that, they are like that.
Yeah.
Just because you inherit something doesn't mean you are doing it.
You're beautiful is that way. Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
that is what is happening. Other thing is, these people want these studies, publications and all. My thing is, I don't publish anything. Mine is experiential.
Yes.
And also, just because they did some cooked up studies, and we know the corruption goes on in the academic field also,
Huge corruption, huge corruption. Oh my goodness.
So just because you have some papers you want published, it doesn't matter to me. Somebody I was conversing this morning, she's a psychologist, I think, but she wanted to understand something I wrote. I said, whatever you are doing in the mind is all play. You have to be yourself. She said, there's so much in that I can't understand. I want to talk to her. Then when she came, then I said, okay, transgress your mind. Understand the mind is only a bunch of thoughts, but that's not you. Then she says, oh, nobody is there at the stage, all these people. We're not talking about other people. We're talking about you.
Yeah.
You see, it's not like scientists, technology, and yoga. Difference is the scientist will do the objective data, and then it can change all the time, right? Even the Newtonian too, everything changed, right? With Einstein, and then now they're unified theory also they're trying, So science can change, and also Ramana said a very effective answer to this. A scientist came to him and said, how can you say what you are saying is science? Then he said, if you see something truth and then you experience it and you see it, what else you want? Science is that, want to find the truth, right? He is not telling anything that he didn't experience. He is not trying to propaganda. He is not trying to get anything out of that, So his explanation was very, very apt, The thing is, if you go into our real spiritual quest down the line, there was no Hinduism or no religion identification.
No.
And there was no belief system. It was all inquiry. Okay? You don't get stuck with anything. So I told her about something about a dialogue, which was Socratean, and also ancient, what they did was, they didn't come with a particular mindset. They come with no identification or anything. They pose a question and your brain responds to it. Not from the bank of memory, but from the awakened intelligence. There is something, I don't know you guys will do it, but I'll tell you about it. What it is you're going to sleep, right? You're going to sleep from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock, okay? 9:55, put away, I'm Salvan, I'm Chandra, whatever, all the identifications. I'm a male, I'm a doctor, I'm this one, all that. Put them aside. Whatever you want to do, plans, everything aside. Okay, write it down. If you, this is a technique I teach people to have good sleep and also really come out very good deep sleep, right? So your ahankara is broken. So you sleep at least those 8 hours completely deeply. And when you get up, don't get into that right away. This is a simple practice, but you have to remember and do it every day.
Yeah.
It shall be done. It shall be done.
Yeah, and then we will see what the effect is.
Yep.
So this is Ramana taught me, because somebody, Ramana's self-inquiry. Are you guys familiar with it?
Yes.
Okay. So somebody came and said, it's very difficult for me to do the self-inquiry all the time in the day. Then he said, okay, what you do is you do this before you sleep and right after you get up. That put a lot of things into perspective, the sleep time goes down, the quality goes up, and the evidence for that is you feel very rejuvenated.
Yes.
Some people ask me, how come you can speak so many hours together? That's because that. Anyway, we will talk more about it on mind,
Yes.
This is going to be a 6 weeks talk, So
Excellent.
first week is done. Next 2 weeks we will do mind. Okay.
Okay.
So again,
Thank
namaste.
you.
Namaste.
Yes. Bye.
Manil, I'll look at your WhatsApp.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.